This device can hunt down flipper zeros being used in Bluetooth spam attacks. For the past few months, I'm sure you've seen there's been a rising trend in Bluetooth low energy spam attacks that are used to disrupt people using their phones or tablets. Devices with BLE capabilities have been modified to spoof seemingly real Bluetooth messages that can make it seem like AirPods or an Apple TV or similar is requesting to pair to your iOS device. The most popular device that can do this attack really easily is the now infamous Flipper Zero. I've made a couple of videos now showing how these attacks can be carried out on a much cheaper microcontroller like this ESP32 S3 Mini, and in my previous video I built a prototype BLE spammer on a similar device here. So again, an ESP32 S3 Mini on a little dev board, and this is running a modified version of EvilAppleJuice that allows you to go through and choose the kind of Bluetooth pairing request that you want to spoof. So let's take a look at how the detector works. We're going to press up to start scanning around us, and we can see we're immediately scanning for unique devices. So we've got 8 unique devices. If we see those appear in more than one scan, they start to move into the safe list. So we can kind of determine that they're probably just real devices around us, maybe like our iPhone or a TV or a laptop or a keyboard, something that we think is fairly safe. If the unique devices suddenly starts to climb very randomly and break the threshold of the number of unique devices that we're comfortable with, then that's when we say we've detected a spam attack. Now, one way we can make this a little bit better is if we didn't have to rely on this sort of dummy math of trying to work out whether a threshold is broken. Because it's all very well sitting here and I'm in a controlled environment, but if I want to detect spam attacks when I'm out and about, maybe in a cafe or in a library or in school or at a conference where these kind of attacks just seem to be quite popular at the minute, then I'm going to get a lot of false positives because there's going to be so many unique devices around us, and if people are coming and going, they might never be seen again, so they would be a sort of false positive in this unique list. So one way that we can detect specific devices doing the attacks is if we could pick up on certain parameters that the spam devices are sending out that they might not realize can be detected. So on my prototype spammer, which we've looked at before, it's running a version of EvilAppleJuice. Now, it's a very popular repo on GitHub. I think it has over 1,000 stars. That indicates to me that it's probably quite popular with people trying this out and using it on ESP32s. You can obviously run that code just on the board. You don't need all of this stuff. So I'm guessing probably quite a lot of people are using that. Now, in the code for the EvilAppleJuice, when they're setting up the Bluetooth device to send out the packets, they actually name the ESP32 as a Bluetooth device specifically as AirPods 69. Now, I don't know whether they're trying to be funny there or not, but it's caused a bit of a problem for them because now we can scan specifically for the device name on the Nugget board here and try to detect if any devices around us are called AirPods 69. So if we find any packets from AirPods 69, we're just going to immediately lock onto it and start saying they're probably spammers, and we can try to hunt them down. The other kind of interesting thing is I was looking at the Wall of Flippers code, and it turns out that the way they sort of detect flipper zeros is by using a similar method of looking at the device name. So often on these flipper zero devices, the device name in a Bluetooth packet sort of starts with flipper. So we can look for that. And another thing we can look for is a service UID, which is sent by the Flipper Zero as well. So I don't have a Flipper Zero, but what I did was give the service UID of a Flipper Zero that we can detect onto this board. So this is now sending not only the name as AirPod 69, but it's also sending a service UID of a Flipper Zero. From my understanding, all Flipper Zeros send the same UID, so if we can detect it on here, my guess is that we can detect any Flipper Zero. So whilst it would be nice to have an actual Flipper Zero to test this out on, I'm pretty happy with how this is working at the minute. So I'm going to show you what happens when we start spamming. So I'm just going to, just so we get everything right, we're going to reset the board here. and we will not start a scan right away. We're going to, on this one, go across to extended attack and start a spam attack. And we'll just lift that off screen, let it do its thing. We're going to go back to the detector now, and we're going to press up to start scanning. And you can see, rather than just counting unique devices, we've now went into a locked on mode because we've immediately picked up on that device sending spam attacks being a little bit shifty. The locked on number is now just counting specifically spam messages from the device that we're locked onto. So it's looking at only packets coming from the Nugget board over there. We've also got a nice little number up here, which is the signal strength. So each packet has a signal strength attached to it, and we're showing that live in here as they come in. So we can use that to hunt down where the device is in a room or in a building fairly easily. So you can see it's at -64 now. I've lifted the board slightly off screen here. I'm going to lift it a little bit closer and put it right beside. You should see that number go down. So now it's at -42, -56. If I put it right next to it, we should get it to go to like -20 something. 0 is very strong signal, -96 is very, very weak signal. So we can use that to determine how close we are to the device. Your signal strength is obviously affected by a lot of things. It could be the room you're in, other devices around it that might be interfering with the signal, or you could have a wall between you or a door between you or some other kind of obstruction. But very roughly, we can use this to start hunting down devices near us. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've really been loving working on these little Nugget dev boards with the BLE spam detection stuff. Bluetooth was never something that I really thought I was going to get into, but I've really enjoyed doing the research on this and learning a lot more about it. If you want to try out these projects yourself, you can go to my GitHub, which is linked below, and you can download both the spammer for the Nugget board and also the detector. You don't need the full Nugget kits if you don't want to. You can just run them on the ESP32 S3 minis. But if you would like to get your hands on a Nugget dev kit, you can go to the link below to Redia, where you can buy a full kit, which gives you the little PCB, the microcontroller, the screen, the buttons, everything you need to get started. And yeah, they're good fun to play with. So thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.